Hello and welcome to the PC hardware presentation. After this presentation, I hope you will have a better understanding and be more familiar with the different pieces of hardware that are inside a computer. First, I will talk about the common knowledge surrounding hardware, followed by direct observation, and finally, my personal experience with PC hardware. As you all know, common knowledge surrounding PC hardware involves various hardware parts that are located inside the PC, and each of these parts are necessary for the user to perform functions on the computer, because without those parts, the computer will cease to function. So each part inside of the computer has a purpose or performs some sort of function, and these different parts can determine how the computer functions and how quickly or efficiently the computer is going to function, because each piece of hardware is made up of a different brand or a different model, and depending on the quality of these models, it will allow your computer to vary in performance. So another aspect that is commonly known is that the computer will not function on its own. It requires a power source, like an outlet or socket in the wall. And these are general things that people know without, taking any courses or anything like that. It's common knowledge. Now, direct observation allows us to analyze each piece that is located inside the machine. So in the PC, there's various types of hardware. There's the motherboard and processor, which is essentially the command station. Like, the processor is the heart of the machine, and a faster processor inside of a motherboard will allow the computer to relay commands at a quicker pace, and the motherboard is essentially what everything connects into and has all the circuitry involved into it. And the next part that's very important to the processor is the CPU fan or the heatsink, and now you'll need thermal paste to connect the fan or heatsink to the processor, because that actually keeps the processor at a reasonable temperature, because the processor gets really hot, and if you don't have a fan or a way of cooling it down, it can overheat and eventually destroy the computer entirely. So the next aspect of PC hardware is the RAM. Now, the RAM allows the computer to run at a faster speed. It enhances the processing power essentially of the computer. So the more RAM you have, the faster your computer is going to run. Now, the graphics card is most noticeable in gaming, or media presentations and aspects of that nature. If you have a really good graphics card, your computer is going to run at a much quicker pace. It's going to be able to process imagery faster and just look overall smoother. The power supply is what supplies power to all the components inside your machine and allow each one to function. Now, the hard drive is where you save all of your information to, and it's where your operating system is going to be installed to. It's where all your downloads are going to be located at. Everything that you do on your computer is going to be located on your hard drive. It's the memory of your computer, pretty much. The CD or DVD player is what allows you to put the discs in your machine, and it'll read whatever information is on it, music or data, either one, and it'll help you put it on the machine. And all of those components go inside the case, and the case should be large enough to fit all the components, so nothing is crammed together. The other aspect of hardware is the monitor. All of your information is going to connect through a cable to a monitor, which is for display purposes for the user. And to control all those aspects, you will need a keyboard and a mouse. The majority of my knowledge from PC hardware comes from personal experience. Most of it is from trial and error. I would plug certain things into certain sockets and figure out what goes where, and a lot of the times it would not work, but when it did start to work, a light bulb clicked on. I was like, oh, okay, this is what goes here. Now, for those errors that I could not figure out, I would have a spare computer nearby or a friend I could call that would allow me to research what was wrong with it and essentially fix that error. So now, after so much experience, I've built my own PCs, and so I know exactly what components to buy and where they go, and it's just a process of assembly at that point. Other experience that I've had is on the job. I would assist employees or my supervisors with various computer issues, both hardware and software, but a lot of times it was hardware. I would help them connect their new machines or put in a new part, and it assisted the company in a very effective manner. To summarize, let's go over the key points of the presentation. We are aware of common knowledge aspects of PC hardware, and developed an understanding for each part through direct observation. I have also shared my personal experience with PC hardware. I hope this presentation has helped with expanding your knowledge with PC hardware and will assist you in future technical areas.